Thank you very much. So yeah, the title of the talk is Type 2 Fuzzy Systems for Human Decision Making. And I'm sure not all of you are aware of what Type 2 fuzzy systems are. So I'm going to try and introduce fuzzy systems to you, what is Type 2 fuzzy systems, and give you a flavor of how we're using them for human decision making. And in a similar vein to Emma's talk yesterday, I'm a firm believer in not including loads of technical information in here. So there's no technical details. It's very much a sort of flavor, give you an idea of what's going on in the research. And I want to start with, first of all, expert variation, because this is where I started getting interested in this whole area, and this is what motivates the work. And hopefully it'll become clear how all this fits together in a minute. So first of all, expert variation, what is it? And again, this work goes back best part of 20 years now to when I was a PhD student. I was working with a group of medical doctors and in Plymouth. This was in my PhD studies. And we were interested in immediate neonatal outcome. And by immediate neonatal outcome, that meant the health of the baby within literally the first second or first seconds of birth. And the specific sort of question, scientific question we were looking at was actually, has the baby, so the baby is literally born, and in fact before it even takes its first breath, you're trying to determine, has the baby suffered asphyxia leading to brain damage or other damage or ultimately death? Have they suffered asphyxia during the process of labour? I'm not going to go into the full details or the biomedical details, but in the process of labour, in the process of normal childbirth, the baby suffers a relative lack of oxygen. And if the body adapts to this lack of oxygen, and if the things go well, if the baby is born healthily, if the labour proceeds normally, then the baby will be born healthily, and it can tolerate this lack of oxygen. But lack of oxygen is a feature of every labour. If things go wrong in labour, the baby can suffer this asphyxia, oxygen starvation. It's same as being, holding your breath or being throttled, being strangled. You suffer oxygen starvation. Eventually, organs in your body shut down. Eventually, if oxygen starvation gets extremely serious, you start getting brain damage and then death. And so we're trying to determine this, how far along